Today's podcast is brought to you by drinkers like you. To help support the show, visit patreon.com/haveadrinkshow. Today we go deep underground to talk about, Carlsberg. That makes more sense than an episode about the Carlsbad Caverns. Quick, someone start a new script. We need to talk about this Danish brewery and how they grew to the Goliath they are today, and certainly nothing about the Captain Reef you can find in Carlsbad. So find a pilsner or maybe malt liquor and join us as we have a drink. Welcome to Have a Drink, the show where you learn along with us about what you drink. I'm Brittany Lee Walker.
I'm Justin Frazier.
I'm Christopher Walker.
And I'm Casey Price.
Yeah, we didn't change any of the wording in that, did we?
Nope. I was getting distracted because looked like he was about to throw the cat.
There was no about. They love chewing on the cables.
How do they feel about being?
Thing.
How much do they enjoy being shot put around your condo? Just
well, I mean, ask it if any indication from Emmett is, we're like, dude, don't do that. He's always inappropriate with cats.
To let you know when the episode was recorded, happy early Father's Day to the dads of the show, and the dad listeners. I guess you'll hear this after the fact, but
yeah,
it's because the show was recorded in February.
Your boys can swim. Good job. But I saw a picture of Emmett's little Father's Day thing to Chris, like, what does Dad like to say? Stop bothering the kiddies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I just went, I don't know if it's his favorite thing to say, Emmett. It's just something that he's got to say a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I looked at that and I was like, oh, and he's like, what's Dad's favorite food? Hot dogs. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I'm not gonna say no. You enjoy a good hot dog.
Yours was more accurate than mine was.
Oh, yours was great. Because all the females in her entire family despise peas. And for Mother's Day, what's Mom's favorite food? Peas.
I'm like,
oh, peas are delicious.
I loathe them.
We after it was made public knowledge that all the females in her family hate peas. All of us, all the males have now decided, like, no, peas. Every get together, there has to be peas, and if they don't provide them, by God, we'll go out and get like a Sam's Club or Costco size can of peas and bring it in there.
Yep.
Good meal, like some peas and mashed potatoes is all I'm saying. Like, I'm a happy man then.
Mm-hmm.
Corn is also a good addition into that too. Just turn it all into one big paste slurry and just slide it down my mouth.
All right, we're off track here. So what's everyone been doing that's not pea related?
There's a track.
We're going. We don't need tracks.
Justin.
Yeah, not a whole lot. I will say I was down at the Void last night because they've got it's their 2-year anniversary, and they had some new stuff out, and they had
some old favorites out.
They did have some old favorites out. The problem with trying to repeat what they are without looking at them is like, oh right, that's this long, Japanese style word that I don't remember off the top of my head, and I'm just like, all I can tell you is that they're good. Yeah. But yeah, they had they also had Casey. I was curious because I wanted to if they had them in cans, I wanted to get some and bring them to you. They have a Pog sake seltzer.
Oh, cool.
And I was just thinking of like, man, I know someone who made a Pog cider. Was it, Casey?
Oh yeah.
That you couldn't keep in stock.
Yeah, it's still the number one seller that we do.
I mean, it's a great flavor.
Yeah. They eat
it's a slammer.
Yeah.
No one's going with me on the Pog joke. Fine.
Oh no, Have you ever that's the actual history of Pogs? Like literally the original Pogs, the Pog juice used to have a cardboard cap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah. So that's the name of the beer.
Mhm.
Is Slammer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that yours was that too. I was just also making a joke about the original Pog, the Pog Slammers for the.
Oh yeah, that was the whole.
That's
Yeah.
the joke at the name of the beer, and but that's why I was saying it was slamming, and then it's like, oh, no one's going with me on this.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't catch the first slamming. I just got when you got to the Slammer.
Yeah.
we're all really on it.
come on and slam.
And
If
I'm
you wanna
drinking a
jam.
0.0 right now, so
But yeah, other than that, it's just been a lot of work, and that's about it. How about you all? Things going well in the old west there, Chris?
I mean, you're liking my new fashion
Oh, I love it.
statement here. Yes,
Uh,
this is my Eastwood
Mhm.
shirt that I got. Yes, it's Marty's awful like bright get up that Doc dresses him in to go back to the Wild West. But I
You-
said I saw the shirt, it had to be mine.
you're dressed like you're dressed like an idiot. Who put you in these? You did. You did, Doc. Oh, that reminds me. I need to watch that Michael J. Fox documentary that's on.
Yeah.
Just I've heard good things about it. I'm just very curious about.
Man, the whole thing depresses me so much. And then like,
Well, yeah.
well, he's doing a ton of stuff. He stayed out of the public eye for like the last 20 years, roughly. And now he's like going to every convention, anything that will give him money, just because he's like, I'm near I'm getting to the point to where travel won't be a thing. So he's just like trying to rack up the cash for his family before he's gone.
Yeah,
man. And then he's like falling now. And I'm just like, God.
I think there's a bit in the documentary I've heard about where he's like accidentally like broken a finger. Like he'll break stuff a lot, but just by accidentally like kind of banging into stuff. And but apparently like he does a lot to try to keep a positive outlook on the whole thing and doing his best not to so I'm just I'm curious about the thing and
Yeah.
growing up when we grew up, we have a deep love for Michael J. Fox.
We do. And it's just I don't know if it's gonna be like the Terry Pratchett thing where we started trying to watch his assisted suicide documentary. I think we made it like 20 minutes in, and I had been sobbing at the 20-minute mark. I'd been sobbing uncontrollably for 30 minutes, and I was just like, I can't do this. I cannot do this.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Anyway.
what network is the Michael J. Fox thing on? I don't remember.
That's on Apple, I believe.
Oh, okay. God.
Anyway, our household has had a shift. Well, was it last time we had done Hello Kitty?
Time, yeah, you introduced the kittens last time.
No, the Hello Kitty truck.
Yes.
Oh, the Hello Kitty truck.
Well, no, we talked about it happening, but
We talked about like the new love of Hello Kitty, but not the most depressing lion's share that I've ever seen in Cincinnati.
To be fair, it was wrapped around that mall. Like that line was crazy.
yeah.
And the cafe truck, I get it because Hello Kitty has a cafe, but there's just like three prepackaged cookies, and it just sells merch.
Yeah, it's really just about the exclusive stuff you can get. That's all. It says cafe on it, essentially. Although I really love my hoodie and the bag that I got. Should have my water bottle out here.
I'm surprised you didn't show
that
show
water
off
bottle is sick.
like
I put ice in it the day
$100
before.
bottle.
It's huge. They don't have the branding on it, but it really seems like one of the Hydro Flask ones. I put ice in it at work, and then like the next day, it's still ice. Like it's still like stupid cold. I'm like, okay, here we are.
On top of Hello Kitty, there are some new brandings around the old condo here. We now want to be the very best that no one ever was.
Oh,
Catch them is our real test.
Is it time for Pokemon?
It is.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Gotta catch 'em all.
And I can't hold back. At the end and beginning of every episode, I am passionately getting into it. And when I don't, Emmett now goes, Dad, sing it.
Well, and you know, you've got. So, are these the new episodes, or are you watching the old ones?
So we'd start on the old ones. I
Yeah.
think we got like
So you had some Pokemon rapping going on too.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we were doing the old school raps. I think he
You know,
made
in a ghastly Hitmonchan. Yeah,
I
sorry.
can't remember how far we got on that.
I think it was like 15 episodes or something into what did
They're
they
all-
call it? They changed it was just Pokemon, and then they were like, no,
But
we
now
gotta
it's the
Indigo
uh,
League or something like that.
Yeah,
Probably.
something.
I think it is
that's-
Indigo League. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Indigo Road is the thing, because they're in the Hanto region.
But anyway, just today, I took a shower and came out, and Brittany had put him on the new ones, and I was like, Ash sounds wrong. Everyone sounds wrong. What is wrong with you people? I was like, we've still got like 80 some episodes of the original to get through, and you all have jumped up to all these Pokemon. I don't even know now. And I'm like old man yelling at clouds.
And
We're on a ghost train, and
yeah, you got to keep up with the games. That's the only way to keep up with knowing what some of these are. And like having bought all of them at some point, I'm at the point still where I'm just like, or like a version of them at least. I still don't know all. Like someone will say one of them, I go, oh right, that's like a fighting ice. That's a weird one. Yeah.
look, Emmett right now is just happy with Pikachu, and he wants Charmander.
Oh yeah.
But
Charmander.
that's why I'm like, no, we should have stuck with the original, because it's the classic ones. It's the ones you got to get through that before you move on, because then you're just going to be confused.
You need I honestly, I'd say 15 episodes is enough of the old one, because at that point, you've seen basically every episode of the show. There was a lot more, but they're all the same episode.
Well, Brittany wanted to start off on a random movie that was a Pokemon movie on Netflix, and it was all about Mewtwo. And
No,
like from-
Emmett. That's the first thing Emmett
Oh,
saw.
yeah.
It was like it's
And
a
minute
3D
one,
kind of
yeah,
look.
minute
That's-
one is Mewtwo being like, "Why am I here? What is my purpose?" And then starts tearing, reality apart. And Brittany's like, "This is a little intense," and I was like, "Yeah." Because you didn't do any primer. You have no clue about, you don't even know who Mew is. And here we are watching Mewtwo like wreck a lab.
I mean,
I was looking at the. I was looking at.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say you can start getting him into the Pokemon games now. I don't know if he'd have the patience for it though, because it's a very
No, he
He
doesn't.
would not.
He's now got a little Pikachu in a Pokeball, and he is the happiest
Thrilled.
ever about that.
But I will say that you start him on red and blue in the old ways. You train him the iron way. You want Charmander, you get Charmander, but you got to fight through rock and water first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you pick other Pokemon? No. You beat every member of that water gym with what is now a Charizard, because you've ground every other Pokemon into dust around you. Because that's what I did. I was a stubborn child.
See, that's the problem now with playing the game start to finish. Because I went mid-COVID and I went and got every game that there is out there. Okay, so like all the ones that are main series games. Now, if it was like Pokemon trading card game, okay, I got that one, but it wouldn't be considered in main series.
Right. And some of them don't match up for all of them. Like, for example, you can't get... I didn't have the things to play, the original Silver and Gold and the... what's Gen 3? Ruby and Sapphire. But they did remakes of them on systems I did have. So if you...
Oh, yeah. And so you can repurchase them that way.
Yeah.
I've got the original systems. I went back and found all, or at least a system that could play it. So maybe not the Game Boy Classic, but the Game Boy Advance can play it, type of thing. In that situation, I think the SP actually is the one that can play.
No, the problem is the little battery in the cartridges staying going.
Yep. And so I went and bought a whole package of those as well to do the resoldering and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could keep the saves going. It erases them, but I mean that's that's just the old games for you. But the problem is trading. And so once you
need
get to a certain point, those games had like very specific timed events that you had to kind of match up with things that were going on, or maybe even log into a server in some instances. Or there are some people that have kept it alive a little bit and have servers that you can point your Switch, or not your Switch, but your Game Boy DS to, and
Mhm.
like it behaves like it's the real server, so it can still download any like event Pokemon that you want it to. But just that's the hardest part, is you've got to really look at third party to make them work like they used to.
Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee might be Emmet speed because you don't battle things to catch them. You just keep throwing Pokemon balls like it's Pokemon Go.
Yeah, those are good entry levels.
Uh,
You don't have to read as much.
but yeah, uh,
They kept my attention, and that's saying a lot.
the fact I couldn't battle things and grind them under my heel before I caught them was really a thing I just didn't enjoy. In in the world of Pokemon, I am the Michael Vick. I train killers. I'm not there to make best friends. I'm there to win.
I mean, weren't we all?
I started
true.
looking up oh wow, they have those were scary as
Look,
hell.
I haven't played since the original 151. Like
Mhm.
that's I think the last Pokemon game I played was Yellow. I played that to completion, and then I was like, yeah. I couldn't keep up with them after that.
I will say if you play the more modern ones, they are ridiculously easy because they just give you everything. Like
Mm.
the stuff that you had to sit there and grind out. Like, look, no grinding anymore. Just go out there, have a good time. It'll be okay. And it's like, it's not what I
Nothing's
want.
earned.
It's like all your Pokemon always get all the XP from every fight. That's not how this works.
I was forged out there grinding on Pidgeys and Ratttas.
This got really dorky very quickly.
I mean, doesn't everything?
True.
I mean, yeah.
We're up to 1010 Pokemon right now.
And
Oh,
you can't
gosh.
make it living dex anymore because the new versions don't have an upgrade anymore to put them all into one thing. They got rid of that after
Wait,
I
what?
think Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon might have been the last one that had like a full upgraded dex
that you could get all of them in that one game.
in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
they would still upgrade and you could transfer them over from past games into that one. They stopped doing that.
The way you do it now is you put them into the bank.
Correct, but if you
and then
put it
you
into but if you do the new games, like those Pokedexes
won't
don't
take
have
Yeah.
don't have the things for them. So yeah.
Yeah, you can't like play as everyone, but you can
Yes.
still have the
Yeah.
whole-
I've just enjoyed exposing Emmett and Brittany to the original
Mhm.
animated series, and I'm like, no, I was like, I
Oh,
was up because we had satellite TV, and I was like, growing up, I was up every Saturday morning to catch new episodes as they were airing.
They would air episodes on Sundays when I would be at church with my family, and I would have to. I'd gotten a VCR, and I'd had to sit there and record it and figure out how to time the recording to make sure I got it and be able to watch it when I got back home.
If it says anything, I can that's how I got into what was at the time ZDTV, because as soon as Pokemon was off, screensavers would come on.
Yes.
That
I was just talking
my-
about screensavers and Kevin Rose.
Kevin Rose and Leo Laporte. Like I was just like,
those were the best.
right? That we'll get real nerdy for a second. There was a post, I think on Reddit a couple weeks ago, and someone was just like, because it was they were talking about Patrick Norton, but then there was a picture of him and Kevin Rose, and everyone's like, the hell ever happened to Kevin Rose? And that's when I was like, I don't know. I was like, last time I saw him, he was yeeting a raccoon off of his porch on the internet.
Yep.
He sold Dig for several millions of dollars, and then they sold Revision 3, which he owned part of, to Discovery for several millions of dollars. So
Literally, he keeps that pattern.
He's a venture capitalist.
Yeah, he's a venture capitalist. He just keeps. He's like, here's a new company I'm doing with this thing, and he builds it up for a couple of years and then sells it for a shit ton of money.
He's a
Yeah.
CEO of something about art and
Yeah, he
artists and
He can afford to live in San Francisco.
and
Exactly.
throw raccoons off his porch daily.
Well, and his wife is like the famous dietitian with the books and all that. I mean, yeah. So it's
Tell you how
They're
you can
fine.
lose hundreds of pounds by throwing raccoons.
Raccoons off of porches.
why every time.
Casey, what have you been up to?
Raccoon eating.
Throwing raccoons.
Raccoons.
I don't know. I wasn't expecting that question. Actually, I don't know why.
We've been going so long on Pokemon that
I know. I thought that was it.
We're just here. Yeah.
There are. I was reading the Pokemon movie list, and it was like, oh, there are, because after you said the Mew movie and those things, the Mewtwo movie, I was like, oh, okay. How many Pokemon movies are there out there? And the
So
list is
many.
quite extensive.
yes.
But it said there are like something like 23 animated and 1 live action. I was like, what live action? That's got to be weird.
Probably Detective Pikachu.
It's Detective Pikachu. I didn't even consider that to be like in the canon
Which is
of
awesome.
Pokemon.
Detective Pikachu is amazing.
When did you see it?
It was on it's on Netflix or one of those.
It's on HBO Max,
Probably.
I think, or now Max.
Yeah, well, I think I rented it as soon as it was available because I really wanted to watch that.
I was gonna say for a while there, Casey, they were doing probably a Pokemon movie a year.
Yeah, I remember like,
'Cause
and it
that's-
seemed like the McDonald's toys would always come out to promote the Pokemon movie.
Well, and that's just generally how like really successful animes work when during their show run is like doing a movie a year. What if we don't have what if we have to rush production? We're doing a movie a year.
Because in anime, they know it's going to be a real flash in the pan popularity, and you better seize it while you can.
I mean, sometimes you get your Dragon Balls or your Lupin the Thirds.
Yeah, they go, well, Lupin never saw any
Lupin didn't see
popularity.
American popularity in Japan. They have been doing movies in that
yeah.
after like the series ended since like the 70s.
But it sucks for us because that just, since it's not popular here, we can't get any English dubs.
And I'm too lazy to, I mean, I could do a sub, but I'm lazy and I'd like to be able to turn my head away from the TV for 5 seconds.
Do you remember when Leo Laporte
Yes.
did the first live stream? Like, how you get these bloggers that'll go out and have their phone up and they're like just live streaming as they're walking down the street or going to Disney. Leo Laporte did the first one of those. I don't know if it was really the first one, but he basically took all kinds of cell phones and then used them to use like this backpack of stuff to split a signal into multiple cell phone signals, which were actually dialing up modems, not like Wi-Fi or internet on the cell phone. It was straight like dialing into a modem, which then connected him to the internet, and walked around and used it.
Yeah,
in like
Yeah.
mid 90s, late 90s.
So he was a pioneer in that, and then it came to the term podcast, and he could not handle it. What was it he wanted to? He's still like to this
Netcast.
day, netcast.
Netcast.
He will not say podcast, and it's like,
Yeah.
come on, old man, Leo.
It's like put it in the fridge, Well, it's from Frigidaire, brand name, so should be.
I also remember, if we want to get down that track, I also remember when Kevin Rose was a part of the first server ever hosted out of a man's anus on Attack of the Show when they took a thumb drive and loaded a server on it, cable and all, wrapped a condom around it, and got a willing participant to have it shoved up his ass. And then live on air, and they're like, you can visit this man's anus. And they gave you the web address. And Sarah Rose was sitting there eating popcorn.
So,
And this is why I did not care about the length of the episode.
because we were just
We're
going to
off.
be weird today.
Yeah, so yeah, that's it. Casey, anything else to add? We're going to talk about anuses more. Casey.
He did.
Nope, I think we're good to stop there.
Okay.
It's Carlsberg.
Well, I was going to say, I think we have news
Oh, do we have news?
about there's a
I
saying?
don't have it ready. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
you
Oh.
don't?
No, I suck.
Well, then I've got to get mine out real quick.
Oh, I thought you already had it out. I thought we were doing that at the start before we get to the topic.
Oh, it's right here. I can.
Oh, okay.
He's got to have one too.
Oh.
Yeah.
I requested to have a sounder ready, and I was denied my request
Look.
from HR. We couldn't afford the stinger for this, or it's so hard to say goodbye. But since we've not had the new show, we've not been able to tell you all that our beloved Anchor Brewing is pulling a new Glarus. They will only distribute in California moving forward, and they have completely discontinued steam beer. That one cuts deep, and because if you go back to, was it second year of the show? Is that when
we did the Anchor Brewing?
Yeah. Wow.
And that was by far one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. If you've not listened to the Anchor / California Common / Kentucky Common,
yeah, something like that. Yeah, because that had the tale of Fritz Maytag. Yes, those Maytags.
Exactly, the Maytag you think. Crazy ass story when they're like, nope, we've got all this dairy equipment. Let's brew beer.
As you do.
But started American craft brewing, or American, what we consider American brewing now.
Yeah.
And the steam beer is going away, and a few of us ran out and could find some. So let's pour one out for our homie.
The echoed.
I've been drinking it this whole time because
I was just, honestly, the news came, and when I was going to buy it and I was explaining it to my dad, I was like, I honestly don't remember what it tastes like. I was like, I may hate it. I don't remember.
It smells like I remember, which is little malty, but it's
a malty backbone on that. Yeah.
It's a little sweet. It's fairly clean, but a little malty. Compared to other things out there now, it is probably easily overshadowed, but it's a pretty solid, just regular kind of beer for me.
Cold out of a can, it's great. Now I'm just like, yeah, I'm the problem here.
Mm-hmm.
We have this great historic beer that had been available to us, and now it's gone. And I'm like, I've got 4 more cans. How long can I hold them?
There were a couple of packs of them at the liquor store near me. I might try to see if I can go back and find at least one more of them because I just bought some singles today. It's like I couldn't remember if I was going to if I was still going to enjoy it or not. So it's like, let's just go a little safe on this one.
Whereas I'm pretty sure so when I went to look, I was like, what do they have Anchor? What do they have Anchor? They had like 3 packs of the porter, and I'm like, porter's great. I wish it was the coffee porter when they had that. I was like, but that hasn't existed for like 4 years now. And they had the space, and they still had the SKU tag up for the steam beer, but there's nothing there. I was like, oh man. I looked all around the store, which is being remodeled, so adding to my confusion. And I was like, there used to be some more singles back in the cooler. I was like, I'll go check in the cooler, see if there's some floating around back there. Found an employee stocking it, and he's one of the guys that I'd seen in there for years. And I just looked at him. I was like, man, you guys have any steam beer left? And like his face dropped, and he goes, we have 1 pack in the back. So it was the pack they were keeping for themselves.
Oh.
And it was even damaged. Like the corner was kicked in, and one of the cans is like heavily dented. He's like, it ain't pretty. And I was like, yeah, but it's the last one that'll ever hit this store. And he goes, yeah. I was like, I'm taking it. My steam beer. Kick rocks.
Pound sand.
Yeah. But that's
enjoy it. I'm going to flavor country.
It is. I'm just like, no, like I was reading the back of it earlier because they did have a rebrand. I think Casey pointed out when I sent the picture before. I was like, he was like, man, they rebranded definitely. And I think it honestly, like it cleaned it up and it's a simpler thing.
But it does make it does, but it makes me think it's a twisted tea.
Yeah, it kind of does. Twisted tea. Born of the Gold Rush and survivor of earthquakes, fire, and prohibition. Anchor Brewing's history is intrinsically linked to San Francisco, one of the constants in our 100+ year run is Anchor Steam Beer, the San Francisco original that's as bold and beautiful as the city it calls home.
I can hear the anchor jingle now. Anchor Brewing, the San Francisco treat. That's it, right?
You read that and then it's sad. They're like, "Oh, it's been around for our entire 100+ year run." And it's like, yeah, not anymore. Sapporo killed that.
Yeah. Oh well. All things must end. And eventually this episode will end, but we have to start it.
Here's to you, Anchor. We'll miss you, Steam Beer.
My last little bits.
And on that note, we can get into the other beer that we're actually going to be talking about today.
We're not that drunk. Cheeky bastards. We're not that drunk. We're not that drunk. We're not that drunk.
From how rambling we are today, I would think we might be.
Right?
I was born a rambling man.
I mean, maybe I was. You don't know.
I've gone down such a rabbit hole as you guys were going on about stuff. There's a hotel. There's a Hello Kitty hotel.
Is it in Denmark?
I'm never going to be surprised anymore.
What's that?
I'm not going to be surprised about anything anymore about that. It could just be random locations, but no,
Fair enough.
It's the stuff in Japan, but like it's not just Tokyo. It's Osaka and the name of that city there.
It's in a little it's a little Hello Kitty pod
With
you
a
can sleep
digital
in.
art exhibit underground.
Well, today we're not talking about Hello Kitty.
Shocking.
We are instead and I feel like I'm not one to throw stones about going off topic already, but so it's fine, Brittany. But today we are talking about Carlsberg in these lovely green bottles, which makes me afraid of everything I'm about to drink now.
That's why I made a decision purchasing, and it was based
cans.
It was I couldn't find cans, like regular ass Carlsberg cans, not in like a 40-some pack.
And this I smell skunk.
That's what I was worried about. I was like, no, we need to find cans of something.
I had a 6-pack of those bottles in my hand, and I was just like, I can't do this.
I was talking to someone about how the reason places like Heineken and this can't get rid of their green cans is because green bottles is because people now expect the skunk flavor. It's just what they think these taste like. So if you try to make them proper now, they'll get upset.
Excuse me, sir. This Heineken on draft does not taste like Heineken. Oh,
yeah,
sure it
kinda
does actually.
Doesn't taste like I licked a skunk's anus.
Oh, it's just a funky smell. Flavor is not as bad.
Oh.
Anyway,
yeah, I like the taste of this one, but
no. That's what I'm saying. We'll get to this in a bit. We need to actually start. Fuck us.
Oh, I am. I'm double fisting over here.
Well, Carlsberg is a Danish multinational brewer. Not a series of caverns out in the western United States.
I don't know why. During the intro and even just thinking about it, all I could picture in my head, we're talking about Danish folk, and I'm just like, yes, Vikings. And in my head, it's all I can picture are the Pilgrims landing, and there's just Carlsberg cans scattered all over the beach. They just go, goddamn Vikings.
Really should be a thing. No, it was founded in 1847, so a little bit after Viking times, by J.C. Jacobson. I don't know if if I can find a more Danish looking name. The company's headquarters is in Copenhagen, Denmark. Today, Carlsberg includes Carlsberg Group, Carlsberg Research Laboratory, where they make Frankenbrew. That's just me saying, I don't think they make anything called that, but I'm just picturing someone out there raising a 6-pack of Carlsberg to the sky during a thunderstorm. Lightning strikes. He goes, "It's alive!"
Neck bolts in the cans.
They also have 3 foundations and 2 museums. The company's flagship brand is Carlsberg, named after Jacobson's son, Carl.
Okay.
Is Berg Danish for beer?
Let's find out.
It could just be, it's Carl's beer. Like Reese's Pieces. The company's, sorry, just read that. The brand operates 75 breweries in 33 countries, employs upwards of 40,000 people, and produces hundreds of brands, including a famous lager from Brooklyn.
So, okay, yeah, they own Brooklyn. That was kind of I knew Brooklyn was
I
owned.
forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just could not remember for the life of me by who. They operate 75 breweries.
Yeah.
I want to be like, where does that place them? I don't know.
Probably puts them like not Heineken level with that, but it's got to put them like, up there in the Constellation brands conversation at least.
Another aside quickly. Can I just say I am super glad we don't do the news show anymore, because I would not want to touch the current beer trending news with a 10-foot pole.
You don't want the current beer meta?
I don't want anything to do with that, where it's Modelo is now the top brand in the U.S., and I don't want to touch anything going on with that.
J.C. Jacobson was a philanthropist and avid art collector. Let me check the year. Okay, he's fine. Art collectors in the 40s get a little more suspect, Brittany.
Yeah.
How did they get these arts?
Yeah.
I'd like one art, please.
Pretty sure in the 40s, Nazis probably had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm. With his fortune, he amassed an art collection which is housed in the I think it's supposed to be New York, right? Not just
that's what I thought too. I don't. It actually means new, like. So I assume it's pronounced the same way, but it's not ever referring to New York. It's just
okay.
Dutch.
The NY, so the Nye Carlsberg Giloptic.
Sure.
I've never tried pronouncing Danish before, so
I've taken a lot of words out of this that could have been in there, and I was like, we're not even going to do this right now.
I was pitching things to her, and she's like, no, because that would literally just be a page of words that we can't say.
We lost a lot of umlauts, is what you're telling me.
Yes.
There was so many.
So many dots and strange lines under and over everything. Just
consonants all just crammed in together. No vowels.
Not a vowel you've seen.
It would have been Welsh.
I was just thinking there was someone I saw a joke was just like, look, I understand you're from Wales, but occasionally we put vowels in words.
Ridiculous.
But yes, the Nye Carlsberg Gilpnotek is in central Copenhagen. The first brew was finished on the 10th of November, 1847, and the export of Carlsberg beer began in 1868. It's a pretty quick turnaround to get into exporting, but also you're in Europe, so it's a lot easier to export out of your country. When your country is not the size of, that entire continent plus.
Yeah.
Just saying it's easy mode for exporters over there. Here in America, never mind. I don't know why I'm keeping doing this. But they exported 1 barrel to Edinburgh, Scotland. So, you know what? They didn't do a neighbor. They just went, no, put it in a boat. Send it to Scotland. Let's see what they want.
I mean, if you're going to check with anyone about beer, you're like, send to the Scots.
They do. Scotland drinks a crap load of Carlsberg.
Learned something today. Some of the company's original logos include an elephant, after which some of its lagers are named, and the swastika, the use of which was discontinued in the 1930s.
Because
I was-
obviously.
Good call.
because of the association with its political parties in the neighboring Germany.
Yeah.
Oh, that poor Tibetan good luck charm.
Yeah.
Well, why is it called Carlsberg? Well, like we said, Jacobson named his company after his son Carl, and since the brewery stood on a mountain, he added a Berg, the J,
Bjerg.
Bjerg, which is Danish for the name. It's a Danish name for mountain.
So there's that. Yeah.
Okay,
It's Carl Mountain.
Why not?
Carl,
Mount Carl.
Carl.
So do we get like? Is that where we get the bergs in the? That's where we'll get iceberg.
It
Oh,
is
that
a
makes
mountain of ice.
Yeah.
And if someone was gonna know about an iceberg, it's gonna be Vikings.
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
We're learning a lot already. That's just putting that out there.
Wonder
never
what
know.
enterprising Viking tried to put a rudder on an iceberg and like, no, I can steer it.
Is Duckburg Danish?
Well, they do have a mountain in Duckburg.
There you go.
It was founded by Danish duck immigrants at the very least, or maybe all of the dog people are immigrants are Danish. I don't know.
Mm.
Are the Beagle Boys Danish?
Okay. Yeah, because they were the ones that were going to call it Beagleberg and then
Mm-hmm.
ducks. Yeah. Okay. We're
Anywho,
We've
see again, not ever worried about the length of the episode anymore on the pages. Doesn't matter.
well,
I found so many shirts today, or not today. I think it was yesterday. I don't know what had me looking. Again, we're off. We're so far off the trail. Like there's grizzlies chasing us. But it was from the new DuckTales, and it had whichever one Danny Pudi voices sitting
Huey.
there condescendingly looking off the T-shirt. Says, "Larry, I'm on DuckTales."
Oh yes, God.
Yes, because Danny Pudi owns that shirt, I believe, too, because he's just like, yeah, it was a good Danny. Larry, I'm on DuckTales. Anyway, Carl opened the brewery in 1812, opened a brewery in 1882 named New Carlsberg, forcing him to rename his brewery Gamle Old Carlsberg. The companies were merged under Carl's direction in 1906 and remained so until his death in 1914. Sorry, 1914 is a much more traumatic time to be dying.
Yeah.
I think anytime's a traumatic time to be dying.
Yeah, but 1914 is World War One. And I assume he was not in World War One fighting, but they bombed a lot of buildings. And they're digged to the sea anyway. Anyway, Jacobson set up the Carlsberg Laboratory in 1875, which featured a Department of Chemistry and Department of Physiology. The main reason behind this is to brew better beer regardless of the money. Cost be damn.
For the greater good.
For the greater good. Many other breweries lodged complaints that he kept his prices too low. Moreover, the research laboratory had a protocol that anything discovered in the lab would be freely shared.
Cool with this.
Guys,
So they're selling
Car-
their beer for really cheap, and it's like Tesla. They're just like, who wants to know our company secrets? Because we know this is going to help the entire industry.
After like getting all this information, I'm like, I really like this brewery suddenly. Like,
are Carlsberg the goodies?
I mean,
so-
it's great.
I'm so used to everyone being the baddies.
I don't know. It's still pretty early.
It's still pretty early. We may find
Pretty-
some Nazis before long.
You've not made it past the 50s yet.
We're pretty early, and we're
Still
still
in the
pretty
18s.
Yeah, we're still in the 1800s, and it's still pretty Dutch.
But actually, it gets kind of awesome.
I will say, let's keep in mind, we're in the early stages of the Dark Knight Maxium, that they're a hero long enough until they see themselves become the villain. So, Lab would freely share their discoveries in the next year. J.C. Jacobson set up the Carlsberg Foundation, which manages the Carlsberg Laboratory, also promotes arts and science and culture even today. Very nice things to be doing.
Yes.
In 1876, J.C. Jacobson established the Carlsberg Foundation, run by trustees from the Royal Danish Academy of Science and Letters, which managed the Carlsberg Laboratory, as well as supporting scientific research within the fields of natural science, mathematics, philosophy, the humanities, and social sciences in Denmark. Because of a conflict with his son Carl, Jacobson's brewery was left to the foundation upon his death in 1887.
Wow.
This is we're in Mondavi territory.
A little bit, yeah.
So, due to conflict with his son, of whom the name of the brewery owes.
I'm just waiting to hear, it's like his, on his deathbed, his father just looked at him like, "Father, have you forgiven me?" He just spits in his face.
No, I give the brewery to the foundation. Get out of my sight. Pulls a Cotton Hill, stops his own heart.
Yeah. So, where do we go from here?
Let's dial back a hair here and go back to 1883. A professor named Emil Christian Hansen became the first to isolate a pure yeast culture that revolutionized the beer industry. J.C. Jacobson shared the discovery because, said he would. And the yeast, cleverly named Saccharomyces carlsbergensis, which we've talked about a many time, with other brewmasters helping to improve beer quality all over the world. Carlsberg type Bohemian lager yeast strain, Saccharomyces pasteurianus.
Pastoranus.
I'm going to say
pastrami anus.
Saccharomyces pastrami anus is now the most widely used lager strain in the world.
I could hear Casey's blood pressure rise.
I've learned to just let go and accept the things I cannot change.
That's for the best. No, I thought this was really cool. Like looking, like not only did they start this, and they're like, no, we're gonna discover things that are gonna help everyone, and we're gonna let everyone know about it. And then, yeah, it turns out to discover like Carlsberg is owed like very important stuff about like yeast. So yeah, I thought that was cool.
Turns out very important to beer.
Yeah.
The first overseas license for brewing was given to the Fotiadis?
Question mark? I don't know.
We are in Mondavi territory. Fotiadis breweries. And in 1966, bit of a time jump, Carlsberg beer was brewed for the first time outside Denmark at the Fotiadis breweries in Cyprus.
Not where I expected this to be.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Carlsberg gets everywhere.
They're everywhere rare antiquities want to be.
No, that's the British Museum.
The first brewery this was the first brewery to be built outside Denmark was Blantyre, Malawi in 1968. Wow. Carlsberg merged with Tuborg breweries. Was that how you said it? Tuborg?
I think so.
TU Tuborg. I don't know. DeBorg Breweries in 1970, forming the United Breweries AS and merged with Tetley in 1992. Look, all the words we can't say, even
Like-
without the umlauts.
I'm just picturing two companies doing the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z.
Carlsberg became the sole owner of Carlsberg Tetley in 1997. In 2008, Carlsberg Group, together with Heineken, bought Scottish and Newcastle, the largest brewer in the UK, for 7.8 billion pounds, 15.3 billion US dollars. In November 2014, Carlsberg agreed to take over Greece's third largest brewery, the Olympic Brewery, adding to its operations in the country already and effectively transforming the firm into the second biggest market player in Greece.
Like they just like went and like they're just everywhere, literally everywhere.
They're everywhere drunks want to be. The Carlsberg Company's markets are divided to Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and Asia. They do not focus much on Africa or America, which explains my scant findings. The company owns two brands in Russia, San Miguel and Baltic Beverage Holdings.
San Miguel is not the name I was expecting to hear when you said owns two brands in Russia.
Yeah.
No joke. Yeah.
The firm has also bought breweries in other countries such as Latvia, Poland, and China. Because why not?
Yeah.
Until the recent years, Carlsberg was managed by a foundation, which put it at a downfall for financing acquisitions. Therefore, if there were any further consolidations in the industry, Carlsberg might become the most vulnerable to take over.
Dum dum dum.
Football.
Football is life.
I found a shirt of that and it's adorable.
And apparently Denny has like two wives or something.
I mean, you've been seeing them since. We can talk about it later.
Since 1992, Carlsberg has been a proud partner of Liverpool FC, making it the longest standing partnership in the Premier League. To celebrate the special season, Carlsberg launched 6 limited edition packs inspired by some of the iconic kits from the Danish brewers' era on the front of the Liverpool FC shirt. 6 packs also feature some of the most celebrated players in Carlsberg and Liverpool FC history. The designs bring in millions of dedicated Liverpool FC fans in the form of the many songs sung not only at Anfield, but across the world.
You know, having been drinking this Pilsner today, this would be a good beer to have at a at a Premier League match.
Boy,
It
I
really
wish
would be.
I wish I were drinking a straight up Pilsner. Can says it is.
Oh, whatever. It is. It's good though. Whatever.
We'll get into what this is. It is not a Pilsner, despite the can saying it, because whenever you look anywhere online, no one else calls it a Pilsner. Anyway, I think was that the end of that one, or
No, you got one more.
Oh, in addition to Liverpool FC and sponsoring World Cup on several occasions, Carlsberg signed a multi-year partnership in 2022 with Canadian soccer business, establishing Carlsberg as the official beer and non-alcoholic beer of the Canadian Premier League.
Which is a thing.
Come on, Canada. Come up with a better name.
Yeah.
Someone else already.
I am surprised that they call it the what is it, the Canadian soccer business though. I'm like, okay. I thought it was football like literally everywhere else but here.
No, there's a handful of places where it's where they use soccer. America, I think Canada's obviously Canada, and then there's a couple other countries. A number of them in like Asia, I think, actually call it something closer to soccer. I don't remember which one countries off the top of my head right now, but that's excuse me. I just find that funny because England came up with both words. Soccer is what they originally called it, and then changed their mind.
Because
Yeah.
Football makes more sense.
It really does compared to what we call football. Anyway, okay.
The
So
ball looks like a foot in American football. That's where it comes from. It's like that oblong shape, like a foot.
okay.
Looks
So
like-
I'm making stuff up.
I assumed
Looks like primarily we are looking at U.S., Canada, Australia.
Australia is the other one I was thinking of.
A variant in like South Africa and South Africa proper, and some of the other countries that are in South Africa. And oddly enough, Ireland.
I was about to say
uses soccer.
the English-speaking world that is not England,
yeah.
Yep.
because they got the word first, and then England changed it, and then everyone else was like, "Nah, we good."
All right.
There
All right.
are some like New Guinea where it's soca, which is
Mhm.
pretty much a variation of soccer,
Yeah, there are some like in their language, it is something close to
but sounds very similar to soccer.
All right. Well, the Carlsberg flagship beers. So they've as we discussed, they've got lots of different brands and lots of different beverages in those brands, but
And apparently suck at labeling them.
oh my god. So the main ones that are of like Carlsberg specifically, rather than the rest of the brands. So Carlsberg is the flagship beer brand in Carlsberg Group's portfolio of the 155 brands that they have. So it's 5% ABV Pilsner, 3.8% in the UK, where it's branded as the Carlsberg Danish Pilsner, the one that everybody sees everywhere, really. It's a global distribution to 140 markets. It's also known as the Carlsberg Lager, Carlsberg Beer, and Carlsberg Pilsner. The introduction of the Carlsberg Pilsner also saw the reintroduction of the Art Nouveau style logo that has been used nearly unmodified since 1904 and later became the logo of the entire company. It was designed by Torvald Bindesbol.
I'm just noticing on this, it has little crown on here, approved by by appointment to the Royal Danish Court.
Yes.
Yeah. So in Denmark, the beer is often known as Hof or Court due to its royal warrant. The nickname was adopted into the brand in 1931, but discontinued in Denmark in 1991. The term is still used in other markets, such as the UK and Sweden. So there's that.
I didn't even look at that part of the script before I made that reference. I just happened to see it.
Yeah.
And then went,
This show relies on
timed.
serendipity. Yes.
Because those are two countries where there are still royal lineages. So they're definitely going to push that aspect there.
The next one is the special brew. So this is a strong lager brewed only in Denmark, Sri Lanka, and the UK. Very specific. It was initially brewed by Carlsberg to commemorate a visit to Denmark by Winston Churchill in 1950.
They had to rebrew several entire vats after Churchill left because he drank it all.
I mean, probably.
Or he had those vats distilled down into something more his taste.
Right.
Well, I mean, he would drink champagne in the morning and then scotch and water throughout the day.
That's what I'm saying. Beer wasn't his speed. He needed something stronger. He had entire vats distilled down to.
Well, I'm saying that scotch and water would have been like a tall glass about yay, where he'd put in like this much scotch and then the rest water. So it would get down to probably a little higher than beer level.
Well, so the flavor of this beer incorporates, quote, cognac flavors among its tasting notes, as Churchill was partial to brandy. So in May 1951, 2 crates were delivered to Churchill's London home. In a thank you letter, Churchill called the drink, quote, commemoration lager. For the British market, Carlsberg called the drink special brew, and production was started in Northampton in the 1950s. at 7.5% alcohol, previously 9%, and then it was 8% for a short while. Special brew is part of a group of strong lagers that are termed, quote, super strength in the UK and malt liquor in the US.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
have different standards.
I was thinking about this, like within a couple of years of this, Churchill has his first stroke. And I'm just like, I had to stop and do the math in my head. I was like, no, he had not had his stroke by this point. Just picturing him like going over, going, Winston, it's wonderful to see you. Have something to drink. Like in the brief, I went, well, my doctor told me not to drink, but I've never listened to him. Bring me a cigar.
It makes sense
Probably
that
correct.
the beer they would send Churchill is basically a
Malt liquor.
malt liquor.
Malt liquor.
yeah.
Fancy it up all you want, but look,
Churchill was drinking Colt 45. Don't lie.
I was about to say Churchill and Billy D.
On the same page. You can't lie to me.
I'd have loved to have seen that crossover.
And also,
Both used
that's enough.
canes, because doesn't Billy D have a cane in those Colt 45 commercials, or am I making that up somehow? I might be confusing with a Scrubs thing.
On Scrubs, he did.
Yeah.
Billy D.
Billy D.
Oh, that's a good callback because I read that every time that they're calling him Lando.
Lando. Billy D.
Billy D. As he's caning around the hospital.
All right. Well, so the next one up is the elephant beer. So this
So
is
I'll talk about the elephant in the room. Is
I'm
it beer?
drinking elephant in the room. It's malt liquor. Don't lie to me.
whatever. Okay, so it's an extra strong, full-bodied pilsner made using pilsner malt and rice, coming in at 6.2% ABV. It's pale golden color, extra strong, and rich in malty character with a hint of caramel, balanced by a satisfyingly dry bitterness. So in 1901, at brewer Carl Jacobson's initiative, the architect, Professor J.L. Dollerup, created a tower resting on 4 elephants carved in granite
On the
from the
back of a
Danish
giant turtle.
No, right.
Flying through space.
from the Danish island of Bornholm. Jacobson's inspiration was the obelisk supporting an elephant on the Piazza del Minerva in Rome.
I read that as
Before-
Pizza de Minerva.
Right. Yeah, I was trying not to do that either.
which he named the Great Achuan.
The 4 elephants each bear the initial of one of Carl Jacobson's children.
Don't ask what happened to the 5th.
Theodora, Paula, Helga, and Vaughn? This became known as the Elephant Gate and is a landmark entrance to the brewery. I included a picture in our doc. It's really, really pretty. So to the west of the gate, Carl Jacobson's motto was inscribed: Laboremus pro patria. Let us work for our country.
I was wondering, I was like, oh, does that translate to probably?
Oh my God! Yeah, I didn't talk about that on here, and I really wish.
Why
I would've now.
didn't you? Oh my God!
So we'll get to that at the end of the episode or something. But so since then, the elephant has been a famous part of the Carlsberg family, especially after the strong elephant beer was created in 1955 under the name Export Lager Beer, featuring the elephant label. The elephant is still brewed in Carlsberg breweries in Copenhagen and exported around the world. A few markets brew their own Carlsberg elephant beer locally, according to the original recipe.
Because they call it something different everywhere. Because you can't find anybody. Ours says Pilsner. Other places call it a Bock. I'm like, what? Okay.
All right.
Sustainability.
Sorry, I had a rant.
In 2018, it launched its Snap Pack that used a revolutionary new glue, cutting plastic usage on multi-packs by up to 76%. The packaging innovation that eliminates 6-pack rings by snapping or stacking cans together earned the Sustainable Development Goals Silver Line Award in 2019. It's rolled out in 2019 across Denmark, Estonia, France, Germany, Latvia, Lithuania, and the UK.
We've
By
talked about this.
reducing
Yep.
the-
News episodes.
Yeah, 2019 makes sense.
Yeah.
By reducing the use of fossil fuel-based packaging materials, it lowers the CO2 of the products and cuts plastic waste. I'm guessing it's like they just glue the cans together.
Yeah, they get like the little. It's kind of like those little sticky things that you
Mhm.
like. It's like I think it's like
glue
a
dots.
sticky gel. Yeah, like a glue dot thing. You can just kind of.
There's a video. I meant to link that on here, but they've got a lot of that stuff on their website. It's really helpful.
But they don't use any of that currently in their packaging.
Well,
May
it's,
not have worked
it's
out.
not. It's not to all the countries yet. Is basically where it is.
I was gonna say because everything was still just like plastic wrapped or in cardboard holders. Or
I'm sure it's like an export thing because, like, I don't know. We have issues getting stuff from Japan, like from headquarters over to here, and it's like there's weird laws different countries have.
Well, yeah, because you can't have tentacle porn on your beauty products here. Come on.
I mean, legally they can. Interesting. I'm going to have to check that packaging option out. In October
For
2019,
tentacle porn.
yeah, it sells. In October of 2019, you just got to find the right audience. Carlsberg announced the imminent launch of a paper beer bottle, the latest in its packaging innovation, and one of many initiatives the brand is pioneering to stay earth-friendly. The fiber bottle, spelt the European way, has an outer shell made of wood fibers and an inner lining made of plant-based polymers, PEF. PEF.
It's a very regular kind of bottle.
Oh yeah.
It also it genuinely looks freaking awesome, and I remember us talking about this also on a news episode.
I thought you were about to say that it really does go right through you, give you a nice.
I
Nice healthy
started-
dude.
Yeah.
increasing my diet with more high fiber whole grain foods, and yeah, the kids have started to make comments.
I could use some more.
Daddy.
Daddy just shit a wicker basket.
I've been told I toot too much.
You should just look at him and go, look, kids, it's beans, the magical fruit.
Yep.
Whereas
The
Emma's
more-
chasing us around going, I poop at you.
Poop pie.
Because we say toot, but he's just like, no, I poop. When you're like, I poop at you.
Where was I going with this? I don't know. We'll come back to it here in a little bit, I'm sure.
It's just poop. Let it poop.
PEF, a highly effective barrier between the beer and fiber shell, capable of protecting. Oh, beans.
Beans.
That's what I was going to say. I found
They also have a nice protective shell.
They do. I found a new place to buy my beans from in California. They'll ship them wherever, but dried beans. And so we've like been trying out some brand new bean types that like heirloom style you can't just get anywhere, and it's really nice because they're not super expensive comparatively, because beans are cheap food. Even when you get the fancy beans, they're not that expensive.
Look, I was waiting for you to say I've adopted, we started growing our own beans, and we've adopted the Three Sisters thing, and growing the beans on the corn. And
I would, but the groundhog has decimated the garden this year.
Oh no.
And I can't like shoot him or her.
You don't have to. You just plant C4 and you blow up that golf course.
Look, you pull the hog out of the hole and you eat him.
He is larger than my cats. he's at least
Yeah,
at
he's
9
well fed.
pounds.
He ate your entire garden.
He gets all the peas he wants. He gets all the Brussels sprouts that he wants. The lettuce. He just grazes on lettuce like it's grass.
Start growing marijuana when he's like passed out in the yard,
There we go.
high out of his mind.
That's a great idea.
Then you deal with him.
We do, like, Kentucky does have that fake marijuana, so I could probably go and find some like oil to spray on the plants,
Yeah.
and like he just get high as all get out, basically having edibles. Groundhog on edibles.
You go over to that groundhog, and he just looks up. He goes, "Dave's not here, man."
Yep, that's how I see it going. But PEF is a highly effective barrier between the beer and fiber shell, capable of protecting the beer's quality so consumers can enjoy the same fresh Carlsberg taste, and insulating the beer better than conventional glass or cans to keep the beer colder for longer. Interesting. I guess, yeah, fiber probably isn't as penetrable for cold to leak out. It's like a cooler, but that also would mean it takes it longer to get colder when you put it in the fridge. So two-edged sword there. With the exception of the cap, the whole bottle is fully bio-based.
It looks really cool. I posted a link in our chat for this.
I remember
but,
seeing it.
Yeah, it's really neat looking.
We discussed it on a news episode years ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but which I'm surprised it's not everywhere now, but it's probably an issue of like regulations here and there.
And I mean, are you playing beat the clock with that on how quickly it just dissolves? You can't really have shelf turds with that.
It's hard to, yeah.
I think the outside would be fine. What I would be concerned about is you're not putting it in an ice chest with ice.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And I will say it is at least opaque, so it's also gonna
The beer will taste better.
Yeah.
Or more like beer and less like Heineken.
Right.
Yeah.
The brewery promotes finding your green zone, quote unquote, of responsible consumption. The brewery's website defines this as the alcohol comfort zone, where drinking is part of your good time. To know what your green zone is to be able to drink respecting your limits and to enjoy the night and the fun for longer. I like that.
They have a whole situation on their site about responsible drinking and like it's a whole movement that they do.
It does remind me though, like a green zone reminds me of old like a cigarette ad campaigns. Like, oh yeah, so tickle your T zones. The zones of tar that we've put inside of you from all the smoking you've done.
Pretty much. Okay, so the other thing I didn't include it in here, but like, because there's not really like an article on it specifically, but their marketing is
Everything
wonderful.
Everything from them you'll find right now just says probably. Like all their soccer scarves for all the different FCs that they sponsor, all this just say probably real big.
They're like, is this the best beer in the world? Probably.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Like, and it's all over the place, and I just love their vibe and their messaging with it. And then Mads Mikkelsen being in their ads doesn't hurt.
Is he bleeding out of his eye in any of those?
No.
Shockingly, no. He's
doing the Dutch
being awesome.
Most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out some of their ads or something. It's really good. He's even in the one for the fiber bottle thing, like drinking out of the prototype.
It'll help you poop, probably.
Yeah, everything probably. I don't know. It always reminds me of what was the thing? Is it like a Twitter account or whatever it was? It was like the quotes from people, and it was like probably said this.
It's there's a bunch of old memes that were,
probably Winston Churchill. I don't know.
Get out of my house before I kick you down into the shit. Mark Twain, probably.
Yeah, those kind of things. It's like, okay, good job.
too
Oh, well-
drunk to taste this chicken. Colonel Sanders, probably.
But yeah, so that was Carlsberg. I thought it was really like I learned a lot from this episode, honestly. Like looking at like the whole thing with the yeast and like the laboratory and just there's so much sustainability stuff on their website. Their brewery in Finland, they're basically at carbon neutral or I guess it was carbon zero, really. But like it's nuts. The stuff that they're like the innovations that they have going on with sustainability is insane.
No, it's hops and barley.
Barley your hops.
Also, on the probably quotes, I'm gonna have a Southern cookout. General Sherman.
Probably.
All right.
Well, today's episode was written by our own Brittany, using sources from Liverpool FC store, Carlsberg's website, Vine Pair, and then Carlsberg Beer Through the Ages, a book.
Hey, Casey,
You're skipping ahead a little bit there.
what are we
Oh.
drinking?
Well, I just figured it made sense right there.
Okay.
I thought
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, there were a few sources on there. Obviously, a lot from the wiki, but also there's some good. Vine Bear always has a good article, honestly, about half the stuff we cover.
They're always like, "Oh, here's 14 interesting things about X, Y, and Z."
yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So, what did we actually get from them, if anything?
Sparkling Muscatel, one of the finest wines of Idaho. Would you taste it for us, please? Oh,
It's me tonight.
excellent choice. Should be for 95 cents.
Okay, that only reminds me, like, if you have not seen, and we haven't totally finished it, whatever, the Disney Plus show of
Mayhem.
Muppet
Teeth and
it's
Electric
just called
Mayhem.
Mayhem.
It's just called Mayhem.
I think
Muppets
it's- yeah,
Mayhem.
Muppets Mayhem. That's what it's called. So good so far. We've got like 3 episodes left, I think.
I love it.
Wonderful. Absolute. I mean, I can't.
Where it Teeth is just got his process disrupted. I just love the relationship between Floyd and Dr. Teeth's mom.
Floyd.
Ma'am.
It's just- and then like there's already been so many cameos. I can't even keep track anymore. Like Weird Al was in the last one when they were all high as crap. And we're just
Yeah.
like, what's happening right now? It's so good.
It's
No,
it's seriously the most Muppets thing that's happened in probably a decade.
I don't know how I feel about the idea of Muppets actually getting high.
Well, it's off of marshmallows that
Yeah.
expired in 1992.
Expired marshmallows.
So
Food
it's like,
poisoning.
eh.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, Chris, Brittany, what are you guys drinking?
Well, the Carlsberg Premium Elephant Pilsner. Go
You
ahead
don't
and
say.
Google the Carlsberg Elephant, and in every market, it is a different label as to what it is. Some places it's a box. Some places it just says lager. Some it say Pilsner. Some it's like
And so it says Pilsner. It's definitely not the color of a Pilsner. It has
not the color of a Pilsner. And if you look into the actual, like, everyone's like, oh, it's actually a combined brew process. And they're like, literally, they took Pilsner and malt liquor and poured them together. And that's what this tastes like.
I liked it. Whatever.
It tastes like a little green grenade. Do not lie to me.
I mean, I'm just saying I liked it. Like whatever.
I'm digging my steam beer, which is our other drink for the evening, a lot more than that, which is sad because the steam beer is in 12 ounce and the Carlsberg Elephant is the elephant on the table at a 16 ouncer.
I
Good
like
Lord.
the elephant, and yeah, like it does. As mentioned earlier, I feel like that would be a really great thing to drink at a sporting event. Let's say. So
Uh,
So you get
Have
a little too pissed and get ejected.
then your soccer player son, punches you in the face.
I still love that episode.
But you didn't want it at the end. Like he went through treatment and
Yeah, I know.
yeah. You told me about that part. I'm just saying, like, the original episode is great.
Okay.
Did you notice that when the name changes, the ABV also changes?
yes.
So it goes from 7.2 to 7.5. And when it
Yeah,
seems to be
7.2.
it's the 7.2 version, it's named Pilsner usually. And 7.5, it's malt liquor or premium strong.
But we did find one instance looking around where, in I don't know what market it is, but it
They
is
called it
sold.
Bach.
Yeah, it's sold as a Bach.
Well, all right.
Interesting.
I have been drinking the Carlsberg Pilsner, a little green bottle, which has held up well. Like it has like a it has more like the funky aroma of like a Czech Pilsner. I think I have that right, Casey?
I think so.
I'm thinking Czech is the one that has a bit more of a funky aroma.
You've got
When I think
Swiss.
Czech, I think peppery.
I frequently will confuse which Pilsner is which when I'm trying to think of like, oh, this smells like this, but this has a bit of that aroma. So at first I thought it had skunked, but it is fairly nice, crisp, and clean. It's kind of the right color, got a nice little bite. It's been good. This is some outdoor sporting event beer. This is coming in at 5%, and they call it a. I wrote Dutch, and that's wrong. A Danish style pilsner. So
Every
it's
time I hear Dutch, I just get the Austin Powers. I hate
freaky.
Dutch.
Cream
There's
cheese.
There's two kinds of people I can't stand in this world: people who are intolerant of other people, and the Dutch.
Michael Caine, just
The
so-
best part of that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it's been pretty good. Been a while since I've had just a good old pilsner, and it's we're into summer or getting to summer. It's the time.
I think that adds to my ire about ours. That's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I was like, I just want to get a 6-pack of just a Pilsner. I was like, that'd be awesome. And I saw this just says Pilsner, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is probably just like a souped up Pilsner, like that, just an Imperial Pilsner. I was like, cool, that'll do. No,
You had that oatmeal cookie anger
yeah.
where you really want that chocolate chip cookie, and what they gave you is an oatmeal raisin, and for a minute you're like, yeah, this is it, and the texture feels wrong in your hand, but you're so excited you go ahead and take a big bite, and you spit in your teacher's face and throw the cookie back at them and go,
If the oatmeal cookies malt liquor instead of Pilsner, then yes. I just
Sorry,
wanted a Pilsner,
went-
not a Colt 45. Jesus Christ. We're not looking for some old E up in here.
Casey, what are you drinking?
I figured I'd stick with a green bottle and went with some Heine 0.0. I'm trying to. I don't miss the alcohol in it at all. Like it is good.
Well, it doesn't have anything. I doubt it. I guess it can't skunk as well. So
No, I mean the hops are really the skunking thing, so it does skunk.
yeah, okay.
Still get some green bottle flavor, but like it's just it. I don't know. Like I don't feel like with the Athletic Beer Company, their beers sometimes taste a little weird, like they're homebrew flavored. Where this tastes like about as close. I mean, I couldn't. I don't know if I could tell you if you set down this beer in a pile of light beers. I don't know if I could say, oh yeah, that one doesn't have alcohol. I definitely, if I wasn't looking for that specifically, I definitely wouldn't know. Which makes me want to go out and try Carlsberg's 0.0 whenever I can find it. I couldn't, nowhere around here's got it, but definitely want to try that. I'm gonna get the opportunity.
Okay. That sounds good.
Also, this relates to nothing except that I this happens when we talk about anything, and I'm like, I'm gonna go look this up real quick, like an idiot. Also on the Muppets Mayhem, Karamo.
Mhm.
It's,
Oh yeah.
it's a really funny scene. She's like,
How'd
how
you
did you get in my house?
The
He's
real
like,
question is, how do I get in your heart?
it's so good. Okay, sorry.
Kevin Smith's in it. Like just everyone that you're like, what? Why?
Where are we?
Ah, ah, ah.
The cat found him. He climbed down his back.
Love it.
Oh,
You are now the Jungle Gym.
You should get out of that shirt quickly because you're bleeding through it.
probably. Oh, cutting out my love handles. Oh man.
You know, I wish Jungle Gyms had a list where you could just go and see what they've got before you actually go. Like,
That takes the fun out of it.
I know, but I wish they had like car side pickup, but it had everything in the store.
It's a food safari. You have no idea what you're going to find or how out of expiration date it is.
There
Don't know
is-
where the beer is, mate. There's a lot of them about.
Yeah.
There's
there
Ready
were-
Izzard.
our work group has to present to the whole company on a call. Not we were supposed to this month, but it falls on July, or this coming month, but it falls on July 4th, so we'll actually be next month. But we get to pick our own topic. It's just one of those fun things. And so we decided, hey, let's do like a touristy thing in your local area. And we're a national company, so I figured like Ohio was local enough for me. 3 hours, it's a day drive. And I picked Jungle Gyms, so I've got to get some photos while we're up there to
Oh,
put it in my
God.
slideshow presentation about the world's largest supermarket.
So
Go to the
which Jungle
bathroom.
Gyms?
The original.
Yeah, I have to go to the big one, right?
Yeah, you got to do a photo tour of the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't even have to actually go in the bathroom. You could just do the sitting in the photo opportunity porta potty.
I might go in the bathroom and then like just go through and be like, here's all the things that you probably won't be able to find anywhere else. Like, here's the chip flavors.
And do the whole, you can get the crickets.
Get you some ketchup chips.
You can get candied crickets or ants. You can get a beer for your grocery shopping as long as you come in that side of the store.
Yeah.
I mean, you can swing by the bar, get you a pint.
I am going to search for some 0.0s while I'm up there. Go that
That
route.
that is the civilized way to be doing your grocery shopping. Just it's a pint in your hand as you're going through. I would like some of this.
Casey, what else is something civilized that people could do?
Well, they could subscribe and get some great resources at haveadrinkshow.com, or even follow us at Have a Drink Show on social media or twitch.tv.
And you can tell us your
we
favorite
say
drink. I think we put up the VOD on there.
Yeah,
we
we
don't
do.
do live.
Okay. Even though it's not live, it's put up there. Okay.
Yeah, and don't forget you can tell us your favorite drink, ask a question, or just leave some general feedback. You can use the email address feedback@haveadrinkshow.com. You can also use the feedback page on the website. You can put a message, put it into a bottle, and then mail it to us because we're all in landlocked areas.
Yes.
We won't be able to find it out by the coasts.
You put it in the top of the big sandy river and it'll float on right by.
All joking and fun aside, I'd like to remind everyone to please drink responsibly.
Oh yes.
Hold
So,
your kitties tight.
Yep.
Sure don't want
Play
to
with
get
your
for
kitties.
Emmett.
Don't let your kitties grow up to be atomic cowboys.
So no, the shirts I found on a website. It's what baby doopy, but you can get like shirts for kids, and one is constant cat chaser, and then the other one says show me your kitties.
Oh yeah. So check us out in another couple of weeks for the next episode. And remember to check out patreon.com/haveadrinkshow and haveadrinkstore.com. Once again, I'm Brittany Lee Walker.
I'm Justin Frazier.
I'm Christopher Walker.
I'm Casey Price. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I wanted to say, and I'm Clint Eastwood.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.